Okay, so I wanted to share a new video on the Dillon 650. Now, I've had a couple of presses. I've had the Dillon 550Bs for a really, really long time, and I really love these presses, and I still use this press all the time. But I'm going to go through a different setup with you, because I load a little differently than most people do, and I do it for a reason. So this right now is set up for sizing a 223 or 556. What I've got is I've got cases that have been swept up off the floor of the range. I'm going to give it a little bit of lube. And what makes this loader really kind of cool, I have it set up with a case feeder. So all I do is I dump the cases on the top, and I can turn this case feeder on, and it's going to drop the cases into this case feed system. And it does a really good job of sorting it and having it all facing the right way and everything. Now what I've done is I've just lubed these. I haven't done any cleaning with them yet. They were really pretty clean from the range, so I'm not going to worry about that. But what makes this press really kind of cool is it has this case feed assembly on it. So you can see right here these cases are dropping in and they're being pushed on to the case feed, or to the shell plate. And as I do this, every single time a new case is put into place. Now the only thing I'm doing in this is I'm just sizing. That's the only die that I have set up. So with every pull and cycle of the press, I'm sizing, and then it's automatically indexing, and it's just going to drop the cases out behind in the tray. As you see, that goes pretty fast. Just to show you real quick, this case feeder does a great job of keeping up with you. And you can really crank through some stuff. I mean, that's going about as fast as I dare go in it. And it does a great job. So the next step, let's take the rest of these out of here. So our next step to these cases, a lot of times you have military primer pockets where it's a crimped primer pocket, and you have two options there. I have a swage that you can load them in one at a time and reform that primer hole, and that works great. And a lot of the real stubborn, real crazy crimped ones, I'll do that on. But another thing that works kind of cool is you can actually just take a little countersink and chuck it up in a drill. Now all I'm going to do is just remove that crimp. Hopefully you can see this. About just like that. That's all it's going to take, just to take that burr off the edge. And you can go through really fast with this little drill. And you know, perhaps the swage will give a little bit more uniform cup and kind of rounded edges, but you know what? I have never had a problem with that, and I've reloaded tens of thousands of rounds like that, and you know, it's whatever works for you. I just wanted to show you two different options. The next thing that has to be done is these cases need to be trimmed for length. And this is something that I check every time I reload a case. The first step is to size it. I want that case sized perfectly. Now I've got to trim it to length. Now there's a lot of different trimmers. There's trimmers you can put it in with a little handle that, you know, does this. And there's also trimmers that you can chuck in a drill and you put a shell holder on one side and it just measures the overall length. Let me show you this really cool new thing that I found. This is from Little Crow Gun Works, and it's called the World's Finest Trimmer. If you just Google World's Finest Trimmer, you'll find this. What's really cool is it's got this little bushing that the shell rides in right against the shoulder, and it's got a blade inside that trims it to the perfect length, whatever you set. And then it's cool because it rides on this little bearing, so it's really smooth, really fast, and that's done. It's got a carbide cutter in there, and it cuts a perfectly flat, burr-free edge. It's really, really nice. The other thing that they've done that's kind of an upgrade since this one, this is kind of their Gen 1 one, if you will. They actually have a new and improved one this one here. And what makes this one kind of cool is these little collets in the end pop out, and you can put different collets in. So instead of buying a whole assembly, you're just buying these collets for each caliber. So I've got this one. This is a 300 blackout, and I've got one for Creedmoor. So that's kind of nice. The thing that's down on this, I guess, is it's got a big 1/2-inch size shank, so it doesn't fit in my little baby drill. I have to get a bigger drill out, where this is a little 3/8. You know, so I just got to get my bigger drill out. But anyway, I wanted to show that. The next step after we get done with that is we're actually going to go over and we're going to clean the cases. I'll take you over there. Okay, so here we are over here. We've got our cases. We're swept up off the floor. We've now taken some of those. We've lubed them and sized them and deprimed them. These are all cut to length. Everything's ready to go on. Our next step is to clean it. So I've got some of these vibratory tumblers, which I really like. They're just simple. We just turn it on and leave it for a few hours and it does a great job. So basically what we're going to do is we're just going to dump this in here. We've got a corncob media that it's going to tumble in, and then we'll come back once the case is clean. In the effort of time, I've already got some that's cleaned, so instead of dumping this in there, I'm just going to pull this out and we're going to go forward. So now remember, this stuff is sized, deprimed, it's now cleaned, it's trimmed to length, the primer pockets are all cut and swaged. So this stuff is ready to be loaded. Almost. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this, we're going to dump it into this separator. And this is pretty slick. Separate the case from all that media. Now, as you can see, we got our nice bright polished cases ready for loading. Now I'm going to add one more step to this though, and let me get this set up and I'll bring you back. Okay, what we're doing now is we're annealing the case. So what we're doing is we're heating up the case. The case is a hardened brass, but we want the top a little bit softer. I'm still in the process of testing this to see how long. I'm told that your brass will last 8 to 10 times longer. And what's interesting is a lot of the factory brass, you'll see they've annealed it too. I researched a lot of different things when I was looking for this tool, and there's a lot of home-built stuff that people are making, this little carousel where they hold a couple of torches and the case goes around and around. I found this from Tool Company. It's in Richmond, Texas. It's amazing. You just look up case annealer and you should be able to find that. Basically all it's going to do is it's just, you fill up your brass in this hopper, feeds it one by one in front of this torch, rolls the case, and heat treats the sides. And what you want is you want to set it up, and it'll go through the instructions with you how to do this. You don't want to get a red hot case. You want to get it just at that point right before it turns red, and you'll have a nice bluish tint. Basically all you're going to do is just keep this thing loaded. And I've put up to about probably 600 rounds in this thing at a time. I mean, it'll really hold a lot, and then you can just let it do its thing. And I really like, if you can see that, it makes for a really pretty case. That just looks cool too. Aside from being incredibly functional. Basically, we're just going to let this thing go, just do its thing, and we'll go back over to the bench.